As the Obama administration tries to wean the country off of dirty fuels, energy companies are ramping up overseas coal exports at a heavy price. Here's the Associated Press with more.
Rail cars carrying tons of Appalachia coal roll into giant shipping facilities near Norfolk, Virginia. Their cargo destined to go overseas and destined to contribute to one of the world's most pressing environmental problems, global warming. In June, President Barack Obama launched an initiative to cut carbon emissions, reducing the nation's reliance on coal-fired power plants. As Obama reduces the gases blamed for global warming from US plants, the country is exporting more coal than it has in decades. Of the 52 million tons of thermal coal exported last year, more than half, 31 million tons, went to Europe.
It
is not enough when one country like the US is reducing its CO2 emission by 30%, and the rest of the world continues like before.
Despite a renewable energy drive, coal imports to Germany have hit 25-year highs. That coal fills the fuel gap left when Germany started phasing out nuclear power plants after the Fukushima disaster. The White House agrees the growing market for coal is a major challenge, but says its time is better spent reducing the demand for carbon fuels.
This is a systemic global problem of exporting emissions that we need to get a handle on.
Energy analyst Paul Bledsoe says America is playing a cosmic shell game with the world's climate, a global problem that ironically leaves the port city of Norfolk a victim of its own economic success.
Norfolk is a microcosm of the global interface between climate impacts and coal. That coal goes around the world, it goes to China, it goes to Europe, it gets burned. The increase in temperature rises sea level everywhere.
Over the last century, Norfolk's water levels have risen by more than a foot. It is now a city resting on stilts and protected by flood walls. Houses are being raised to above flood levels.
Well, it's going to be up here, 60 inches. It's going to be raised up 5 feet.
Bob Parsons' home, just miles away from two coal export terminals, has been repeatedly flooded.
It's been flooding regularly for quite a long time, and most of us are wondering what's being done about it.
And something needs to be done quickly. Water levels are expected to rise at an even faster rate in the next 50 years.
If we're just displacing our domestic coal but then exporting it, what are we really doing for the global climate?
Carbon emissions and global warming will be top agenda items at the 2015 United Nations Climate Change Conference in Paris. Environmentalists are lobbying for an agreement on carbon emissions, which will take into account both exporting raw materials and burning fossil fuels. Tracy Brown, Associated Press, Norfolk, Virginia.